Every time a new generation is announced from Nvidia, we just can't wait to see what's going to happen. What's the next big thing? How fast can these cards be? And what new technology do these GPUs have that make them faster and better? And with the RTX 50 series, there will be a lot of new things. We don't have to worry about that. But will those things be game changing? And if you are planning to buy a GPU, should you wait or should you just pull the trigger and buy one right now? Well, let's see what's new about the 50 series GPUs. But before I say a word, know that these are just leaks and rumors, and these could end up not being true. So everything I say, take it with a ton of salt. Before we start talking about what these GPUs are capable of, let's talk about when will they launch, just so you know how much you are going to wait for them. And at first, it was expected for them to start launching at 2025, but according to many sources, they are expected to start launching at the fourth quarter of 2024. In fact, according to GameRant and some other sources, there is a chance that they might come out at the third quarter of 2024. And one thing to keep in mind is that the 5090 might not be the first GPU to come out. The first GPU to come out will probably be the 5080, believe it or not. And that's not just one source saying that, that's a lot of people saying that. So this is the roadmap of GPU's release time. Basically, it is either later this year or at the most at the beginning of next year. Now let's get into the performance. And according to the leaks, they will have a lot of performance. First, the project name for these GPUs is NVIDIA Blackwell, and they will feature GDDR7 memory. For those who don't know, this is a big leap in performance in everything from memory bandwidth to, well, everything. And it will be even more efficient, so less power, plus it will generate less heat for the performance it provides. So for the low-end GPUs, mid-range GPUs, and maybe even high-end GPUs, you will not need any fancy cooling for your system. Maybe, hopefully. You probably will for the high-end GPUs. Definitely. Honestly speaking, there are a lot of performance improvements here, and when we look at the new technology, everything starts to fascinate us. Like, everything is up to 50% faster, and maybe even faster than that, according to the leaks at least. And yes, everything about the next gen GPUs tells us that they can be up to 50% faster than the current generation GPUs in everything. But if you are waiting for the next generation of GPUs, the raw performance probably isn't the most exciting thing for you. At least it's not for me. Just hear me out, because I know what I am talking about. Performance is important, but how much performance do we really need? Let's be honest, at 1080p, even the RTX 30 series GPUs do a great job at handling almost everything. And when it comes to 1440p, well, the high-end 30 series GPUs still hold their own, and probably will for a couple more years. And I know this is just an opinion, but most games don't need that much performance to run. 4K is a different story, but do you really need 4K for a 24, maybe 27-inch display? But with all of that said, what am I excited for? Well, that's easy. The new features. We all know what ray tracing is, and now we have path tracing, and path tracing makes games look even better. And okay, right now it is not as sophisticated, but with the 50 series it can be, because when it comes to ray tracing and their new features, Nvidia usually improves them a lot, more than 20 or 30% for every generation, and with the 50 series it will be no different. It is said that ray tracing performance will be over 2 times greater, and if you have seen path tracing in some newer titles, well, unless you have the 4090, it is unplayable. At 4K at least. I mean, you can play it with DLSS, but if you can manage 20 frames without it, with DLSS the game will not feel as responsive and it will not look as good. And what about if newer, more demanding games implement it? That's where the 50 series comes in. It is something new. It will have better features to make games look and play better, not just pure performance. At least that's what I am hoping for, because with the improvements in AI there are so many things Nvidia can implement, but that is a different story for another video. But just think of the possibilities. DLSS is already good. If they make it just slightly better and if they have more optimized path tracing, then I think people will be happy. One other thing I would like to mention is that they are focusing a bit more at the low-end GPUs for once. It is said that the 5060 will have 12 GB of VRAM. I know that the 3060 had this, but hey, it's an improvement over the 4060, so I am not complaining. God knows newer games need more VRAM. Anyway, there is something I want to talk about the 5090, but before I do that, let's talk about prices. And when it comes to prices, opinions are all over the place. I mean, look at the facts, or better said, leaks and rumors. But we need to take a closer look at the 5060 for that. So it will have 12 GB of VRAM, and I think that is because of the competition. You have people that are saying that this year's GPUs are going to be cheaper because because of the competition from AMD and Intel. You have other sources saying that since Nvidia is dominating the market, it's going to have even higher prices. My opinion is in the middle. Let's look at the complaints with the 4060, and because people have an alternative, they can buy the alternative. The alternative being AMD, of course, but the 5060 is far into the future. Let's look at the earliest launch, which will probably be the RTX 5080, which might be the GPU for the people who want a high-end PC. And according to rumors, it can be anywhere from $1,000 to $2,100. And when it comes to what I think, well, it depends on what they want the price of the 5090 to be, because it is rumored that the 5090 is going to be over $2,000, maybe as high as $2,500. And if that much is true, the 5080 can't be $1,200, because it will make the 5090 look like a really bad deal, which it will probably be. And when it comes to the RTX 5070, since it is not even planned to be released before the 5080 and the 5090, I think it's pointless to guess its price. But the 5090, I think it will be extremely expensive, even compared to the RTX 4090. And my reasoning for that is the GDDR7 memory. Now let me explain. I know that memory on its own isn't a big deal, but it is rumored that AMD isn't going to use GDDR7 memory for its newer GPUs, which will make the performance gap of the 5090 and AMD's best GPU even bigger. So the 5090 will be out of reach for most people. And if AMD is still on GDDR6 memory, that means that now they are even more focused on budget and mid-tier gaming GPUs, which might make Nvidia rethink their prices for the 5080, 5070 and 5060. So there is a chance for that to happen, only time will tell. And as per the 5090, I think it's safe to say that AMD isn't going to give us anything with the performance, nothing even close to it. And hopefully I am wrong, but hey, if they force Nvidia to make their mid-tier GPUs cheaper, I think that's a win on its own. And now, should you wait for the 50 series to come out? Well, I mean, it is for you to decide. If you want to upgrade from a GTX 1060, maybe waiting is good. Even if the 50 series is expensive, the 40 series might get cheaper. And if you are building a new PC, waiting might make more sense because you will get the newest generation hardware and the best DLSS and the best ray tracing. But honestly speaking, there will always be a GPU ahead. There will always be a GPU that will make the other GPUs go down in price. If you don't buy one now because you want the 5070, when the 5070 comes out, you will probably want it to be a bit faster and have more RAM, so you might even wait for the 5070 Super. And when that comes out, you will see leaks and rumors about the 6090, which when it comes out will make the 5070 Super even cheaper. So honestly, just buying what you need right now is the best, but don't take my word for it. They might come out at the third quarter of this year, and if they do, then buying one right now is a mistake, because everything I said till now is basically a waste of your time. Nothing is proven, nothing is officially announced. Most of the things I said is hopeful thinking, and this video will age like milk. So tell me in the comments, what do you think the future will look like for Nvidia? I would love to hear about that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.